Hey there, soulmates. It's your girl, Dr. Melissa, back with another soul-stirring episode of Standing on Business, where it's not just business, it's personal. So today we're going to dive into a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and it's one that I know affects so many purpose-driven entrepreneurs, and that is Imposter Syndrome. Yes. Today, we're going to learn strategies to be able to silence that pesky little inner critic and to learn how to embrace your true worth as a leader and the change maker that I know you are. So, let me first get real with you for a moment. Personally, I have battled with imposter syndrome for as long as I can remember. You know, even as my business grew and I started achieving the kind of success I had always dreamed of, that nagging voice in the back of my head would whisper, "You're a fraud. You're not good enough. What are you going to do when they find out that you don't know what you're doing?" You know, when I think about it, and I know that imposter syndrome is something that many people deal with. But for me, this was really compounded by my childhood experiences. To give you a little bit of context when I say that, you see, I grew up in a single parent household, like many, that consisted of my mom, myself, and my two younger sisters. My sisters and I were so close as you could get. So there were lots of laughter, lots of love, but also lots of hunger and lots of lack. We lived down a long dirt road in rural Virginia in conditions that, to be honest, would be difficult for many people to imagine. So early on, I lived with embarrassment and shame because of our lack of resources. When I think back on it, I never quite felt like I fit in anywhere because I was that poor kid in the classroom. And I always felt like there was this giant neon sign over my head announcing that I was poor, that I didn't belong, that I wasn't good enough. And you know what's funny is that even as I grew up, after I left the dirt road, got multiple degrees, I still felt unworthy. You see, that guilt, that shame, and that fear was relentless in my life. And to be honest with you, it was exhausting. Constantly feeling like I had to prove myself. Constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. But soulmates, here's the thing. Imposter syndrome is a big, fat liar. And it's time that we expose it for the liar and fraud that it is. Because here's the truth. You, just like me, are worthy. You are more than capable. You are enough. Exactly as you are right now, you are enough. Your unique experiences, your struggles, those hard-earned skills, your soul-driven passion, they're not flukes or accidents. These things are your superpowers. They are your gifts to the world. And it's time, and we're going to start today, to start owning them unapologetically. But you might be asking, how do we do that? How can we do that when this imposter syndrome can feel so real and so overwhelming? Well, I'm going to tell you. It first starts with awareness. You see, you need to recognize that imposter syndrome is a common experience, especially among high achievers and purpose-driven leaders. You are not alone. And I want you to know that along with that awareness is to understand that it's not a reflection of your actual abilities or worth. Rather, it's a manifestation of fear and self-doubt. Soulmates, when you feel those fraudulent feelings creeping in, I want you to pause and I want you to acknowledge it. I want you to say to yourself, hey there, what's up, imposter syndrome? I see you. I see you, but I don't believe you. Now, while you might be thinking to yourself, that doesn't make sense, I'm going to tell you that this simple act of acknowledgement can help to diffuse the power of those thoughts, and it can create some distance. You see, with that acknowledgement, you're not allowing those automatic negative thoughts to run rampant. You're arresting them and you're saying, oh, okay. Hey there, I see you. Yeah, I recognize you. And the moment that it's sort of like the boogeyman under the bed when it's dark, when you're a kid. And it's amazing. You can hear it scratching and gnawing at the bottom of your bed. And you just know it's going to come out in any second and eat you. If you were like me, I was that kid. But it's amazing. As soon as the lights would get turned on, magically, the gnawing and the scratching would stop. Isn't that funny? But it was because light had been shed on something that was growing and existing in darkness. You see, imposter syndrome needs the darkness. It needs for you to be unaware of it. It needs for you to not acknowledge it. That's when it's most powerful. Okay, so let's start with acknowledgement. Let's start with awareness. Next, I want you to challenge the lies with truth. Make a list of all of the evidence that contradicts your imposter syndrome. A list that includes your achievements. It might be client testimonials. It might be the lives that you've impacted. It might be, like me, the challenges that you've overcome. And then I want you to keep this list handy and refer to it often, especially in moments of doubt. And you can keep this tangibly. If you're old school like me and you need paper, I keep things sort of posted around for myself. But you can also keep this mentally. Review it, go over it. You're not good enough. You're not capable. Well, I did get a master's degree and a doctorate degree, so they don't give those out. At least they didn't give it out to me. I worked very hard for it. So I must be capable because I was able to achieve that. You see what I'm saying? You don't fit in. You don't matter. Well, there is this group of people that I interface with that have been very supportive. There are my clients who tell me often that I've made such a tremendous impact in their life. So, no. Remember, you challenge the lies from the imposter syndrome with the truth. You know, doing this can also help to reframe failure and mistakes as opportunities for growth rather than the proof of your inadequacy. Listen, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a necessary part of the journey. You see, every misstep, every stumble is a chance to learn. It's a chance to improve. It's a chance to become the leader that you were meant to be. You know, Nelson Mandela says it this way. He said, I never lose. I either win or I learn. So in this situation, you come to understand that failure is not fatal. It's foundational. Failure is formative. Failure is that thing that will help you to identify where you need to pivot, where you need to strengthen. So it's so important. To be honest with you, when it comes to business, failure is sometimes a whole lot more valuable than perceived success, because it will give you those lessons. It will give you those opportunities that you didn't realize existed. So another powerful strategy is to practice self-compassion. I am so intentional about this, you guys. I need you to speak to yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a beloved friend. What do I mean when I say that? And for those of us that have children, your child did not come in first place. How many of us would say, "Oh, you're such a failure. Oh, you are so unworthy. You are, oh gosh, can you ever do anything right?" I'm hoping that the people that are watching me would not say that to their children or their friends and loved ones. No, we would probably say, "I'm so proud of you. Oh, I'm so proud of you for taking that chance. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You came in second, but you know what? There was a time that you didn't even run that fast. And look at you. You were able to improve and improve on your time, and you came in second place. That is so wonderful. Can you remember last year when you would have been last? Look at the progress." Those are the kind of things we would say to people that we care about. But isn't it funny that very rarely do we talk to ourselves in that way? When it's us that came in second, when it's us that didn't win, oh, can't believe that. Oh, I can't believe I didn't get it. Oh, I can't do anything right. So this whole strategy of self-compassion is so important. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to other people that you love. I want you to remind yourself that I know you feel like Superwoman and Superman, but you're human. Remind yourself that you're doing your best. And most importantly, remind yourself that your worth is not contingent on your perfection, which, by the way, doesn't exist in the first place. Okay, you guys, so we're going to go ahead and pause here now and take a quick break. Come on back, and when you come back, we're going to dive deeper into this whole conundrum of imposter syndrome. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome to a unique brew of perspectives. What's the Tea with Gen XYZ is your one-stop spot for a fresh take on today's burning issues. Representing 3 generations, a Gen X icon, a millennial maverick, and a Gen Z trailblazer stir up conversations ranging from social justice to pop culture. They'll bring the heat, spill the honest truth, and find common ground across the years. Expect humor, candor, and perhaps a dash of healthy debate. Enlightening, insightful, and sure to stir the pot. Stay tuned for a stimulating dialogue that bridges the generation gap, one cup at a time.
Okay, welcome back to Standing on Business with Dr. Melissa. Before the break, we talked about some inner work strategies. So now let's dive into some out of work tactics for overcoming imposter syndrome. One of the most transformative things you can do, and if you've listened to me at all, you will have heard this so many times, is to cultivate a support system of people who believe in you and your purpose. It is so critical to surround yourself with mentors, coaches, colleagues, and friends who see your brilliance and can reflect that back to you. It's important to have a circle, a network that you can share your struggles with. You can share your struggles with imposter syndrome and ask them for their encouragement and perspective when you're feeling doubtful. You see, it can be incredibly important and powerful to learn from the experiences of others who have also grappled with imposter syndrome. Reading biographies of successful entrepreneurs and leaders who have openly shared their battles with self-doubt. And there are a plethora of people that have done so. You can listen to podcasts or attend events where you can hear firsthand stories about how to overcome imposter syndrome. Here's the key. Knowing that you're not alone in the struggle can be so inspiring and so helpful. Again, it's difficult when we feel like we're in a silo, that we're experiencing something that no one else is going through. And that's another lie that imposter syndrome will tell you, that everybody else feels capable and everybody else is wonderful and you are the only person with issues. Now let's talk about another effective strategy, which is to take action in spite of the fear. I call it do it afraid. Understanding that you don't have to wait for fear to go away in order to take action. You see, oftentimes, imposter syndrome thrives in the realm of inaction and overthinking. The more you procrastinate or second guess yourself, the more those feelings can fester. But when you take bold, imperfect actions towards your goal, you will build momentum and confidence. In other words, what you're saying to imposter syndrome, I said a few weeks doing a short video that I did when I was in Miami, said acknowledge the feelings and then tell imposter syndrome to have a seat and watch you work. Once those feelings realize that it will not stop action, you'll find that you'll start to build more and more momentum. So I want you to start small if needed. Set manageable, achievable milestones, and then celebrate each one along the way. I want you to focus on progress over perfection. And I want you to trust your capabilities. Trust that your capabilities will expand you as you stretch beyond your comfort zone. And soulmates, most importantly, remember your why. You're going to need to reconnect with the deeper purpose that drives you, the mission that's bigger than your fears and doubts. You see, when you're anchored in your why, when you're clear on the impact that you want to make and the people that you want to serve, imposter syndrome loses a lot of its power and its grip. And that's because you know that this work, this purpose, this calling is so much greater than your ego or your insecurities. Okay, so now it's time for our Q&A segment. And this is where I get to connect with you directly and to answer your burning questions this week about overcoming imposter syndrome. And so our first question comes from Jessica. And Jessica writes, I often compare myself to other successful entrepreneurs in my industry, and I feel like I don't measure up. How do I stop playing the comparison game? Whew. Oh, Jessica, comparison is such a common trap and one that can really fuel imposter syndrome. Comparison will always be the thief of all joy. You see, it's easy to look at someone else's highlight reel and assume that they have it all figured out, that they are so much farther ahead and more capable than you. But the truth is, we are all on our own unique journey with our own timelines and our own definitions of success. And I promise you that sometimes what we see, our perception of what's happening in other people's lives, is perceived and not real. When you find yourself slipping into the comparison mode, first, I want you to acknowledge it with compassion. I want you to remind yourself that it's a natural human tendency, but it's one that doesn't serve you well. And then I want you to consciously shift your focus back to your own path. Reconnect back to your why, your vision, your values. And then I want you to celebrate your own progress and milestones, no matter how small they may seem. Jessica, it can also help to reframe comparison as inspiration. So, like, instead of feeling threatened or less than when you see someone succeeding in your field, get curious. Like, what can you learn from their journey? What strategies or mindset shifts could you apply to your own business in your own unique way? This is a great opportunity to use their success as proof of what's possible, rather than a measuring stick for your own worth. That's a great strategy. And then remember that the only person you need to compare yourself to is the you from yesterday, the version of you from yesterday. Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you taking bold and brave actions toward your goals? If you are, then you are right on track, and no one else, what they're doing, somebody else's journey, what they're doing, does not matter. So I hope that I was able to answer that for you. It's such a great question. And thank you for your transparency. The next question comes from David. Hi, David. David says, oh yeah, I've been procrastinating on launching my new offering because I'm afraid it's not good enough. How do I find the confidence to put my work out there? David, this is such a common struggle, and it's one that imposter syndrome also loves to latch onto. You know, it's that fear of not being good enough, of being judged or rejected. These feelings can keep us stuck in an endless cycle of perfecting and polishing over and over again, never quite feeling ready to share our gifts with the world. But here's the thing. Your work does not have to be perfect to be valuable. Your offering, your products, your services doesn't have to be flawless to make a difference in the lives of your ideal clients. In fact, there's a certain magic in imperfection. Trust me, I know. There's a magic in imperfection. There's a magic in the humanity and the vulnerability of sharing something real and raw. And people are attracted to genuineness and authenticity, which is not perfect. So I want you to start by reframing your definition of good enough. Instead of waiting for some elusive, magical standard of perfection, I want you to ask yourself, does this offering align with my values and my purpose? Does it provide genuine value and transformation for my target audience? Have I poured my heart and skills into creating it to the best of my current ability? And David, if the answer is yes, then it's ready to be shared. But I will say it can also help to start small and gather feedback along the way. So what I've done in the past is I have launched a beta group or a select handful of clients first. I've called them like my founding group. And I invite them to share their honest experiences and suggestions for improvement. I've been able to use their input to help me refine and to iterate or change that offering while celebrating the impact that I'm already creating. So you can try that, but I'm going to tell you, above all, just trust yourself. Trust that you have unique gifts and perspectives to offer. Trust that your ideal clients are out there waiting for exactly what you have to share. Trust that your worth as a leader and change maker is not contingent on any one offering, program, service, or outcome. You got this, David. Your work matters and the world needs it. So take a deep breath, take big, brave and bold action, and let your light shine. Whew, wow. What a wonderful and heart-opening episode and conversation today. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a simple but profound truth. You are enough. You are worthy. You are a purpose-driven leader with gifts and strengths beyond measure. Yes, imposter syndrome may try to convince you otherwise, but today is the day to reclaim your power. Today is the day to rewrite the stories you tell yourself and to rise above the doubts and step into your full potential. So I want to thank you once again for tuning in to Standing on Business with Dr. Melissa. I hope today's discussion about imposter syndrome has ignited a fire within you, a fire that would help you to embrace your authenticity, prioritize your growth, and infuse your business with purpose. If you want more information about me, and if you're ready to take your business to the next level and align it with your purpose, I want to invite you to join our free community, the My Soul Purpose community. There, you'll have the opportunity to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs, gain clarity on your purpose, and develop a roadmap for aligning your business with your authentic self. The community is absolutely free. So to learn more and to secure your spot, you can join at community.purposeprofitess.com. I cannot wait to serve you there. So, soulmates, join me next week as we dig and dive deeper into strategies and mindset shifts that you will need to build a purpose-driven business. I want you to remember that you are purposeful and you are powerful. I believe in you, and I cannot wait to see the incredible things that you are going to achieve. So, until next time, soulmates, keep standing up, keep standing out, and keep standing on business. Bye for now.